Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. Good afternoon. I have an interesting video for you. I just got back from a backpacking trip. It was an overnighter. Most of the food and stuff that we cooked on that trip was Mountain House. Some of those Mountain House meals require 1 cup of water, and then there's others that require 2 cups of water. So we took the Esbit little stove here, which is a great product. You can pick this up on Amazon for about 25 bucks or so. And the cool thing about this is, it's all hard anodized aluminum. You get a nice pot that'll hold easily 2 cups of water, which is the exact amount that we needed to use on our Mountain House meals. Now, what I want to talk about in this video is what type of fuel we used on that trip. We experimented with something new. Now you can see that there's a lot of soot and stuff on my pot, and if you don't mind that, which we didn't, because we were camped out by a river, and you could take the sand off the river and clean the pot, which we didn't do. But what I want to talk about in this video is the little fuel tabs. So if you look at the Esbit fuel tabs, you can get 12 fuel tabs for like 8 bucks, okay? Or what we did was we went to Walmart and picked up these Weber lighter cubes. These are for lighting your barbecue grill. We were able to pick up 24 of these for like $3.50, something like that. It wasn't that much. What we learned is it cost us half the amount of money for twice the amount of fuel. So that's what I want to show you in this video. What we ended up finding out was if we used 8 ounces, which is 1 cup of water, we learned that 1 lighter cube is sufficient to bring 8 ounces of water to a boil. In fact, it was more than enough. And we also learned that if you needed 2 cups of water, 16 ounces, we used 2 cubes. So that's what I want to demonstrate in this video today. Here is 8 ounces of water. So there's my timer. What we're going to do is we're going to use 1 of these tablets for 8 ounces and 2 for 16 ounces. And I just want to demonstrate in real time how effective these little cubes are. And they save you a lot of money. You don't have to spend near as much on fuel tablets. So let's get everything in place. Let's put the lid on. If you don't mind soot on your pot, I think these are a very viable option. Set that little piece on the top there. Let's go ahead and get this baby lit. They light very easily. Let's start our timer. And again, like I mentioned, I'm going to let this video run in real time so you can see exactly what's going on. Now these are a little bit messy because of the soot involved, but they're pretty effective. We were very happy with the results of what these fuel tabs did, these lighter cubes. They worked out great for us. So I'm going to just let the camera roll and let you guys watch the elapsed time up there in the corner. When this gets to a boil, this lid will kind of dance around a little bit, and that's how we'll know when we're done. Now this little stove, I'll talk about it a little bit while we're waiting. It's made out of hard anodized aluminum. The pot itself holds a total of 585 milliliters. Now that's filled to the brim. That's completely full. It has a lid, and it has the wind deflector for the fuel tabs or the lighter cubes, whichever you choose to use. The stove and the cook set, again, they're constructed from lightweight hard anodized aluminum, and the thing only weighs 7 ounces, so it's a very light option for you, and it uses Esbit's unique proprietary solid state fuel cubes. But those fuel cubes, like I mentioned, they're like $8 for 12 of them, where I could spend less than $4 for 24 of the Webers. And the thing I like about this set here is it's self-contained. You know, everything fits together, and it's just good for heating up water or quick food on the trail. You can get some coffee going, some tea if you need to steep some tea. When you're done, the other feature I really like is the stove itself fits inside the pot. Now, soot, you can definitely see a lot of soot, but we're going to be outside on the camp or the hike or the trail, and that soot, you know, with plenty of ventilation, it's not an issue. You know, which makes it real nice for space and weight efficiency. Now the pot has a pour spout on it, which is pretty cool. The pot also has stamped graduation markers in liters and in milliliters, or excuse me, in ounces and milliliters, which is kind of nice. You can hear that water starting to get hot. We're at almost 4 minutes in. It's just, you know, these silicone handles here have been pretty effective for being able to grab the thing right off the heat, which I thought was kind of cool. Now the pot dimensions are 3.4 inches by 4.4 inches, and it only weighs 7 ounces. So that's a pretty cool deal. I think this is a very effective way to fuel your little stove here, is by using the Weber lighting cubes, lighter cubes they call them. I just think that's an effective way. If you look at the packaging, now these aren't designed for doing what I'm doing. They're more designed for, you know, heating up your charcoal and getting your charcoal lit. Now each one of these fuel tabs, or should I call it lighter cubes, they run for about 10 minutes. And when they're done, they leave like behind a big black ash, and they will soot your pot up, but that doesn't bother me. We're at a rolling boil and we're only 5 minutes in. Let's go take a look at that. So 5 minutes, we're at a nice rolling boil. You might be wondering, how do I put this old fuel tablet out? Just blow them out. And then what's cool about that is when you get ready for your next meal, you have some left that you can use. But you can see on the bottom of my rag all the soot. I mean, you get tons of soot off of these guys. Terrible. So just keep that in mind. If that's not a deal breaker for you, then I'd suggest looking into these. It wasn't a deal breaker for me. Now what you have left behind is this white little tablet. This is what it looks like if they burn completely out. It's just a black little like charcoal. So if you got something like this, you could definitely fire that back up, and they light pretty quick. So it works out pretty good. I took this in the house and I just washed it up. I didn't scrub too much. I just used a wash rag and some standard dish soap. And it was pretty easy to clean for the most part. Again, I didn't scrub like heavy or anything. I just washed it up. Most of the soot came off, and it's pretty clean. So it wasn't that big of a deal for me. It wasn't, to me, it's not a deal breaker. So now what I want to do is I want to try 16 ounces of water, 2 cups, which is the most that we're going to need in one whack. And then we are going to use 2 tablets. Now some of you might be sitting there thinking, well, why would you use 2 tablets? You still have a half of a tablet left. That's true, and if we were out there, I would definitely utilize that half of a tablet. But for this test, I just want to show the speed and things like that of what the thing will come to a boil. So let's get that up to 16 ounces. I'm looking down there at the graduation markers, and according to what I'm looking at, that's 16 ounces. So I might have a little more than 16 ounces. I might have poured a little extra. So let's put the lid on. So we're somewhere in the neighborhood of 16 ounces. I mean, I'm trying not to get too scientific about this whole thing. Let's get a couple more tabs. Again, we're going to use 2 tabs for this next test. I'm just going to set them in there. And each tab burns a little different than the last. I mean, they're not like right on the money like Esbit. So one of them might last 10 minutes, the next one might last, 12 minutes or something like that. But for the most part, you get about 10 minutes out of them. It's not my plan to make a long video or anything like that. It's just I want you guys to see exactly what you're getting when you buy these Weber lighter cubes. I like them. I really do. Personally, I think they're a very good alternative, a very cost-effective alternative to the Esbit tabs. Is it lit? Yeah, I think it lit. Let's go ahead and start our timer. These things light very well. Alright, hopefully you can see the timer, and we're just going to let that baby go just like the last one. Again, we're going to wait for signs, sound of the water getting hot and boiling and things like that. Now, one thing that came to mind while I was inside and I was washing the pot was the fact of the soot. And what I was thinking about the soot is, indoors or something like that, it would definitely be a factor. It would be a deal breaker almost. But since we're going to be out in the woods on our trips, like we were, it doesn't really come into play that much, the issue of the soot, because we are out, with plenty of ventilation, and you don't even notice all the soot smell and all that. So with 2 tabs, you can see that the flames are much more significant. Again, we have 2 cups of water in there. And as that base heats up, that thing will get going. And it's a really good set. Again, you can find it on Amazon, about 25 bucks. Esbit fuel tablets. You can buy a package of 12 of them. Each one is 14 grams. And a 12 pack right now is $8.79. Each one will burn for 12 minutes. So 12 times 12 is 144 minutes. If my math is correct, 144 minutes. Now if you get the Weber cubes, the Weber lighter cubes, you get 24 of them, and they burn about 10 minutes a piece, so you get approximately 240 minutes of burn time. Now that's pretty crazy because I picked up the Webers for $3.29 and the Esbits were $8.79. So think about that. You're doubling the amount of cubes you get and deducting the price in half. To me, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, you get some soot or whatever, but to me, it's not that big a deal. You can also use these lighter cubes, these Weber ones, on the little folding stoves, the little folding Esbit stoves. They work good for that too. I like to use the Coughlin's emergency camp stove, they call it. $7.98. That's the Coughlin's that I like to use. That's the one I'm referring to. And these Weber lighting cubes work great for that as well. You can see that they light real well. You know, the soot, to me personally, it's not an issue. Unless you're trying to set that pot in your lap or something and eat your soup or whatever, but I'm just using it to boil water. And there's a stream nearby, there's plenty of ventilation. I can go to the stream with a little bit of sand and a rag. Now it will discolor your rag, but if you get a rag and you designate that rag specifically for that process, you should be good to go. Sounds like we're almost at a boil already. We're at the 4-minute mark. Yeah, we are. We're at a light boil. That's pretty crazy. Let's take a look at that. 4.5 minutes. So that's where you get the power out of your fuel tabs. By using 2 of them, you get a good boil time. And because of all the soot, I'm going to set my rag right there, and we'll just use that as a trivet for the lack of a better description. Couple good breaths. If you don't have that kind of lungs, you can put a pot upside down over it and that'll kill it as well. You can see from our first test we had 1 cube, you know, like half of a cube, and then on our second test we had, you know, 2 parts. So in total we still have like 3 little parts. And if you wanted to do more, I mean, you can absolutely light these babies up again. Like, I'll use that small one for example. They light right up. It's not hard to use them again after you blow them out. They light pretty well. See, they go right back to town, and then I'm sure that this will be right back at a boil in no time because the water's still hot. But that's the point that I'm trying to make, is you can kind of look around your camp and say, oh, I got, you know, 2.5 cubes, and you can use what you think you need. And if you miscalculate and you end up being a little short, you could put sticks in there, little pieces of wood and stuff like that, and you can finish boiling your water and things of that nature with sticks, with wood, which is going to be everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's wood from weeds growing next to you. You can use wood in this stove. It's not designed for wood, but I've done it every time I've taken it out. I've thrown sticks and stuff in there, and I've never had a bit of trouble. Another thing I like about this stove is it has a little bit of a wind guard on it. So if I turn this fan on and give it a little bit of wind, that thing still stays lit. And I have a fan on there, and it'll still boil my water. Might not be super effective, but it still does its job. So folks, I want to say thank you for joining me today on this video. I hope you got some good useful information out of it. Please feel free to leave your comments down below. Like this video. Share this video. And if you like the type of content that you see on my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you. And until next time folks, thanks again for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day. Now get out there and get you some Weber lighter cubes. Walmart. They're real cheap and they're effective. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye now.